welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Bailey. I'm Bailey and I am a clairvoyant psychic medium and spiritual healer. And today's video is going to be about the False Ascension. So I've already done a video on the False Ascension Grid and the dream I had about the False Ascension Grid, but now I'm going to go into a little bit more detailed information about the False Ascension and what has happened over the last 3 years. And I've got notes and also what is happening now the last 3 years, and also how this sort of pertains to Atlantis and our fall from consciousness in Atlantis, and also how we were opened up to beings that came in and sort of tinkered around with our planetary grid system, and how the False Ascension, which sort of played out the last 3 years, is sort of very similar to that. And we could even look at the False Ascension as a planetary initiation. I have, from what I've seen, there's been a lot of people that have been aware of the False Ascension. But okay, so I'm just gonna, so I had a dream about the False Ascension and how it was set up, and it was like a computer. It's very computerized, and there was no source connection into it. It was set up devoid from soul and devoid from organic, natural, spiritual growth, maturity. And you could call ascension, all ascension is maturing in your soul essence and having a different expression in a new planetary consciousness. So that means there's evolution, soul evolution that takes place. So what the False Ascension has done, as it's sort of hindered natural evolutionary growth, because what has happened is a lot of souls have gone and given their power away to a being or a group of energies outside of themselves. And when we start giving ourselves away to galactic beings or things like the Galactic Federation or very, very galactic beings, like, how do you know that they are who they say they are? And what I've seen happen with these types of things is that you can lose, because you've gone and given your spiritual energies away and your spiritual power away to a group of energies outside of yourself. You have allowed yourself to become incredibly spiritually disempowered, because you're not relying solely on your higher self connection. And that's a bit scary, because if you're someone that has gone and given yourself away to a spiritual identity outside of yourself, you're not rooted on the earth. It takes a lot of work to bring your soul essence back into your body and then reconnect you into the natural organic channel that you have. So the False Ascension is probably one of the most disempowering things I've seen, and it plays on people's need to be a savior. It plays on people's, and this is very, very lower chakras as well. This is not working with your higher organic spiritual chakras. It's all very, very lower chakras. It plays on the ego. It plays on people who haven't done spiritual maturity and coming fully into their bodies. It's very, very, very disempowering on the soul journey. Like, again, while we can be aware that we have connections in the stars, and while organic, natural connections can be made, to willingly give your entire soul power and your life force away to a galactic federation, or even people claim to be channeling angels, they will not, these higher dimensional beings will not come through someone who has not been trained and is spiritually mature to do that type of work. They will not come through someone who is not trained pre-incarnation to do this work. There is very, very set laws, very, very set morals and ethics when it comes to channeling higher dimensional energies. They will not come through someone who has not been trained to do that work, just because they're running off of such high morals and ethics and laws of the cosmos and the natural organic law and order. They will not work through someone who has not been trained, because then the messages could become distorted. So just be mindful of that. There are very, very set laws when it comes to channeling higher dimensional beings. They will not work through someone who has not been trained and is not holding the correct consciousness, because you're not going to be able to bring the messages through. Incredibly disempowering, because first and foremost, you're just giving your soul energy away to something outside of yourself. And what I've seen with a lot of these channels or people who are working off of the false ascension energies is they enter into this type of fantasy land, and there's also incredible mental confusion that starts to happen because you have given your channel or your energies away to something outside of yourself. When your higher self does come to try and make contact, you're going to get really, really confused, because you're already mentally confused from the false ascension grid energies. So when a natural organic connection or message does come through, you're not going to be able to discern the difference, because you're so plugged into the false ascension energies. And this also causes soul fragmentation, because you're, if I just explain it, it's sort of like you're giving yourself over this way, when really you should be staying this way with your energies. So all you can do is get your higher self. You don't want to sort of go out, and when we go out with our soul energies, and we go like this, like, it's not good, because you're going, and you're going to fragment yourself off into different parts of groupings or ascension energies or galactic beings, and you're going to have to do quite a bit of work to get your soul energies back from those energies. So it's very fragmented. It's incredibly fragmented. You're fragmented off, and you're not working off of a straight channel where it's only your higher self, and it's incredibly, and this is how you get mental confusion with these types of the false ascension energies, because you're so split off in different energies, and it's not a clear, direct, organic channel. So I've also seen what did I experience recently? I also saw what happens if you're not empowered in your soul essence, and you're looking for something to give you a sense of purpose, or specialness. You're probably gone off in the ascension energies because you want to be special, or you want to be a savior, you want to save humanity. But really, you've got to take a very good look at yourself as to why you're not focusing on your own soul journey and trying to empower yourself while you're here. Because when I see people saying they're here to save humanity, or very humanitarian messages like it's just me, I really question how empowered that person is in themselves, because that sounds like a Saviour Complex from the lower ego. And when we are not fully empowered and know our worth, we will go looking for things that give us a sense of false empowerment, because we haven't found that within ourselves yet. And that's called soul fragmentation. You haven't embodied your soul power. You have sort of taken something from out here to make yourself special, when really you should be using your own energies in connection to the higher self. I think I said it has something to do with the solar plexus as well. I would deeply, if you are looking to get off that ascension grid or their false ascension energies, I would look into your solar plexus, and I would, you're going to have to do some energy work around reclaiming back your parts from these energies you've given yourself to, and bring them back into the physical vessel, because it's like soul fragmentation. And if you're not empowered, it's so easy to just think that someone else outside of you is going to come and do the work for you on the earth front. That's not true. As we move into these new higher energies on the earth, it becomes more about soul maturity, being self-responsible with your life force, working with your own energies on the earth, and empowering yourself with your own life force. No one is coming to save you from outside of yourself. No one is coming to do the work. If you're still reliant on people around you to empower you, you've got to take a good look at yourself. Because as we start moving into these higher energies, it's all about spiritual maturity, spiritual self-responsibility, and self-accountability and self-governance. I'm not a fan of self-sovereignty. A lot of people don't understand what sovereignty is. I prefer to use self-governance. You want to be the one using your own life force, making your own decisions, listening to your higher self, and doing your thing on the earth front. No one is coming to come and do things for you. And you're going to sit in a form of stasis, and you're not going to live a good life because you're just wanting something to come and do stuff for you, or give me the messages. No! Get your own messages. Yeah, so the last 3 years, I know there's a lot of people who sort of picked up the replay of the Atlantean timelines, and for myself and my experience, I was clearing a lot of Atlantean overlays and disempowerment. I deeply feel like what happened over the last 3 years was really asking where people wanted to sit with their energies. And now as we move into the next 3 years, it's like we're beginning the true planetary, what's it called? I almost wanted to say, not awakening, because it's more like a, it's up to you. Like we're really being asked now, it's up to you. No one is coming to save you. It's up to you and your physical vessel and how you want to do things. And that's called being empowered and working with your higher self. But being on the earth, you don't want to fly outside. You want to allow your natural guidance to come through to you in an organic way. Okay, so I'm just going to also talk about how can you step out from maybe the last 3 years if you're wanting to leave some stuff that you were working with. First and foremost, I would ask your higher self to help you remove yourself from the false ascension grid. And as I said, you're going to have to do some soul callback. You're probably also going to have to clear out some belief systems in your physical vessel, and use some energy work, guided by your higher self. But you're going to have to do a little bit of work of rerouting yourself this way and not out all this way. And that means taking accountability and responsibility for your mental energies, for everything in your vessel. Your life force is yours, and so you've got to harness it and work with it in the physical realm. No one is going to come and do that for you. What else? Yeah, and you've just got to rewrite yourself to the higher self connection. Okay, so how can you allow yourself to be guided or self-governed? First and foremost, if you want it, just don't go forcing. I'm just going to write down how to allow. So first and foremost, don't go off forcing yourself to try and pull down information. That is I think that's the very old ascension, like let's let's bring it down, or like let's allow a solar flash. Again, with these solar flashes and ascension symptoms, it's like you're still giving your power away to something that's going to upgrade you, when really you're the one that's got to get going on the earth front. Really empowering. While soul integration and light integration happens, it's usually not this. It shouldn't whack you out for a week. I would seriously look at your diet and exercise and your sleep routine if you're being whacked out for a week by integration. Usually from my experience, when I go through integration, I will I'm just going to write that down, integration. I will either get tired and need more sleep, or I'll sleep in for longer and I'll dream a lot. And I also know when integration is really taking place, I want to drink more green smoothies than I usually have, than my one a day green smoothie. I just want to eat really, really clean food. And I tend to exercise a lot. So if you're going through integration, exercise really helps those energies balance out. You shouldn't be getting whacked out for a week on end because of a solar flash or because the Schumann resonance says so. That's still giving your power away to something outside of yourself, where it's better to allow integration to happen and follow your own natural intuition. Okay, how do we allow ourselves? If you need to do some work clearing, go ahead and do what you need to do to get back on your natural channel, not the channel that's going out all this way that causes mental confusion. First and foremost, I would get very serious about the type of media and information that you're ingesting, and get back to basics. And what you want to do is you want to stop searching. Come back in here and you've got to get in a state of lightness and play. So lightness and play, and also watch your mental energies. If you start being like, like you get very, I need to, like, watch yourself and just be like, chill out. You need to get in a natural, organic state of allowance. And so you've got to simplify things. And this is where common sense intuition comes in. Like, just meander around. And it doesn't mean that you don't do anything, but you want to be in an energy that's very light and allowing and playful. And as soon as we start taking things too seriously, or we are too hardened, maybe look at some inner child stuff, because the inner child allows us to be a lot more intuitive as well. But if you just allow yourself and just sort of step out of this rigid way of experiencing spiritual energies and just step out and allow yourself to, okay, I don't know anything and I don't know what to do next. What can I do? And just allow things to pop in. That's what you want to do. You don't want to go forcing up. You want to allow things to pop in through your crown chakra. Do some work on your crown chakra. And just allow things to pop into your energy field. Clear your energy field. And allow things to pop in and sit in your energy. And then allow yourself to ruminate with that idea or impulse or intuitive hit that's come through. And then work with it and just allow it to, it's a very different way of working with spiritual energies, but you just got to allow it. And it's a very divine feminine way, like working with spiritual energies, and allow it to have its way with you. Almost like allow it to have its way with you. I found, just go about your day naturally and organically and allow things to pop in. No forcing out, no forcing up. Allow things to pop in. So if you have had a lot, the last few years you've gone out a lot, you want to come back in and allow things to just play in your awareness, and allow those higher self insights and guidance to come through. Again, you want to slow down. You want to slow down and really allow. And it's the ascension, from what I saw from the false ascension, it was very forceful, and like we're trying to, but we need to go and come back to the body and allow and trust. We need to allow and trust those things to come in naturally and organically. Okay, I feel like I've spoken enough on that. Yeah, lots of disempowerment, loss of higher self connection. It can cause a lot of mental confusion, and it will play on the need, if you haven't done some work on your own self-love, or you haven't seen your soul beauty, it will play on the fact that you don't feel good enough. And I'd be very mindful of people saying source is a computer. I think I've seen that one, and that scares the bejesus out of me, because source is organic and natural light. So we want to be connected in to organic and natural light. And organic and natural light comes through in a gentle manner, working with spiritual energies. It's not this forceful thing. So we just need to reconfigure how we're working with spiritual energies and get a little bit more lighter and trusting. Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for watching.